Yo, what's up everybody? So One Piece chapter 1062 has been out. If you haven't read it, hurry up and go read it because there's gonna be spoilers going ahead in this video. Before we get started, please drop a like on the video. Please subscribe. Help your boy out, trying to get them channel numbers. And before we get started, Bartholomew Kuma, will you please step to the front for some questions? Let's get straight into it. So I'd like to direct everybody's attention to this super small detail that you might have possibly missed in the last chapter. In a panel where Lucci is explaining the assignment of CP0 is to actually go to Egghead Island, return this problem child Kuma Seraphim, and also eliminate Vegapunk. Now, I haven't seen anybody anywhere talking about this, and that's probably due to the fact that people are mostly focused on the fact that there are 6 Vegapunk satellite bodies, which was a huge reveal. And let's not forget that Kuma has been revealed to be Bonnie's father. And just CP0 coming to Egghead Island to eliminate Vegapunk, setting up Enies Lobby 2.0, is a reveal in itself. However, I just could not get this phrase out of my head, and I quote, "Our assignment is to return the problem child back to Egghead." Now, at first, when Lucci refers to the Seraphim Kuma as a problem child, that just leads you to assume that this particular pacifista, the Seraphim, is probably just malfunctioning, right? That's not super far-fetched. Vegapunk makes machines all the time that malfunction. Even up until the last, 2 chapters ago, he made that shark that was malfunctioning. So machines do malfunction even if they're built by Vegapunk himself. Then I started to think to myself that this particular Kuma does look a little different from the other Seraphim. Now, we don't know too much about the Seraphim. They've really only been introduced in the last couple of chapters. However, the 2 Seraphim that we do know about, being Mihawk and Bo Hancock, they were both revealed to be in their adolescent form, but this version of Kuma seems to be almost full grown. I mean, maybe he seems a little bit younger than the Kuma that we're used to, but we can be certain that this definitely is not adolescent Kuma. Oda has drawn adolescent Kuma, and this is not it. So then you have to ask yourself, well, why are the other Seraphim in their adolescent form and this version of Kuma is not? So this, I believe, could be due to 2 different scenarios. The first one being that this could be the very first Seraphim. We know that Vegapunk has been working on Kuma a very long time. It's been some years, and it's quite possible that Vegapunk has been working on this particular Seraphim before any of the other Seraphim, especially since we had an entire line of pacifistas before there was even mention of a Seraphim. So if this Seraphim has some years on the others, I wouldn't be surprised, and I wouldn't put it past Vegapunk to invent something that can age and grow into a full-grown warlord, death machine, angel thing. But this is out there. This is huge speculation because we don't actually know this to be true, and it's quite possible there's a Seraphim for every warlord. We don't know the requirements behind making a Seraphim, if Mihawk or Boa Hancock did or did not voluntarily give themselves up to be experimented on like Kuma. I don't really see them doing that, but we just don't know how Seraphims come into existence. Now, the other option, which just so happens to be my favorite option, is that this is not a Seraphim at all. That's right, this could be the real Kuma. And of course, what I mean by that is this could be the real Kuma working undercover as a Seraphim. Now, stick with me here because it's gonna get a little crazy. So we know that CP0 is on their way, not just to return the Kuma Seraphim, but also to eliminate Dr. Vegapunk. But I just don't see Vegapunk falling for this, and to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Vegapunk was so smart that he already knew that CP0 was on their way. We know that CP0 won't accomplish their mission, at least not in the way that they think they will. So I want to open your mind to the idea that this particular Seraphim, the one built in the image of Kuma and also the one that Rob Lucci has labeled the problem child, I want you to imagine a scenario where this version of Kuma is working for Vegapunk. Good? We got it? Good. Now, there's been theories for years about Vegapunk being a double agent, and at any moment he could double cross the world government. We know he has ties to the Revolutionary Army through Kuma, and we know that his works and his inventions are definitely not evil, and they do a lot of good for the One Piece world, even if that means defying the world government. As we've seen with the real Kuma was programmed to protect the Straw Hats, Thousand Sunny, over the 2 years that the crew was in hiding. Also, the idea that Kuma has been transformed into a cyborg has always been presented to us in a way that seemed like Kuma was okay with it. It's not like the man ever seemed like he was upset over the idea or he was freaking out. He seemed like he voluntarily gave up his body to Vegapunk. My point is that Vegapunk has always seemed like the type to make his inventions for the greater good, whether that be on the side of the world government or on the side of outlaws. Even in the most recent chapters, Vegapunk voiced his opinions and frustrations on being able to invent things that can change the world, but being hindered by lack of funds, lack of engineers. I mean, can you imagine how he's going to feel when he finds out that the government has dispatched their best agents to kill him? But getting back on topic, this could be the contingency plan that we have all been waiting for when it comes to Vegapunk. I remember back in the day, we would all speculate that there would be some version of Order 66 with the Pacifista and they would turn on the world government. In hindsight, I'm glad that's not what happened, because after the 2-year time skip, beating a Pacifista became incredibly easy for everybody, including the Straw Hats. So the Pacifista turning on the world government really isn't too much of a big deal anymore. Now, when I say this could be the real Kuma, I don't mean that the other Kuma that we've seen thus far is a fake, but it's possible that Vegapunk transplanted the real Kuma's consciousness into this Seraphim Kuma body. If you don't know, I'm a really big fan of the theory that Vegapunk can transplant and remove the consciousness of a person in the One Piece world. I have a video on it. It will be in the description. Now, I think the advantages of that are self-explanatory, but on top of that, take the fact that Vegapunk also knows how to transplant devil fruit powers. Therefore, this version of Kuma can still have his paw fruit power. The paw fruit is one of the most OP devil fruit powers in the entire series. Now combine that with the indestructibility of the Lunarian powers in a younger, stronger, undamaged body and the consciousness of the real Kuma, and you can see how CP0 traveling with that thing in their vicinity is definitely a problem. And I'm sure it could also be a possibility that this is a completely new Kuma. This is a new Kuma with a new body and a new mind that Vegapunk made from scratch. But Vegapunk said it himself in this last chapter that what's real and what's not real, that argument has definitely been put to rest. So whether or not this was the original Kuma's body, or this is irrelevant. This is the real Kuma now. And I would love to see the situation with CP0 come to eliminate Vegapunk, but they brought Vegapunk's ace card. That would speak truth to the character, cunning, and the genius that is Dr. Vegapunk. I'd like to thank everybody who made it to the video this far. Let me know what you think below. Do you think Vegapunk is 3 steps ahead of CP0, or do you think that CP0 is really gonna go into Egghead and get the drop on Vegapunk? I mean, not very many people are talking about it. It is a very, very small sentence in a small panel. However, why is this Kuma the problem child? Like, I don't understand. They just made the Seraphim. They were just introduced and they've already got a problem child. Seems a little bit weird to me, but let me know what you think below. Of course, drop a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe. This has been SifuThatGuy. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I will catch you guys next time.